Hello and welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I'm in a quite weird place right now, but I think I can explain why and how. So please, drop a like, subscribe, and go to my friend's channel and give him some support. Anyway, let's dive into the story of the Left Behind. The story begins with a cabin in the woods where this guy is hiding. His name is Gerard Scott. He's a former USIA agent. For unknown reasons, he became mentally ill and had a lot of conspiracy theories against the government, specifically the law enforcement like police and even the agency that he used to work for, the USIA. The USIA is like the CIA, so kind of reasonable that he went insane, right? He also has some recipes for ricin, which is a chemical he experimented with. On some walls it says that it makes the bad voices go away, which leads me to believe that he takes this to either feel relieved or pleasured. Also, he has multiple charts showing how long animals survived when contracting this aerosol chemical, and there are more interesting instructions written on the wall. What creeps me out about him is that on the chart, the last line says feds. He probably baited us here to experiment with the officers. What makes this obvious are the drawings on the wall which say where to shoot so the feds don't die. The reason you're here is that he baited you here by lighting a car on fire and killing 5 police officers who responded to that. So your mission is to arrest Scott. For some reason he also knows Judge, one of the police officers you can play as. Scott is not alone though. He has a few more accomplices with him, so look out for them. What you should also look out for are the grenades at the doors, which explode if you don't defuse them. So mirror every door or peek every door and cut the wires. Let's be honest, what would a highly trained agent that went completely insane without grenades be? When you're in the building and you cleared it, I recommend you stay and look at all the stuff laying around, because there are a lot of tapes of his ramblings. They're pretty interesting and I recommend you listen to them. But also, there is a soft objective on the second floor, which are the lost documents he stole and probably went fucking nuts over. Also, you should look at the cabin and how destroyed it is, and the plans in some of the rooms. He is truly an example of a madman. And this is the beginning of the story of a group called the Left Behind. The Left Behind are a terrorist group consisting of veterans. Some just have one leg, so what I like to do is to shoot them in the other, so they cannot walk. But you may ask yourself what they are doing and why. So basically, a senator wanted to pass a bill in which he would take away all the benefits that veterans got for serving their country, which naturally made them upset and rise up. So that's why they went to an apartment building that was conveniently close to where the senator would be giving a speech. So they tried to JFK the guy, which obviously didn't work out. The senator was left in a critical state after getting shot, so it kinda seems reasonable that they got upset at such a bill, but they went these lengths just to cancel it. It is kind of impressive and also very extreme. One other thing you notice is that they were live streaming something, probably a message to the public. Then why are you here? Some guy in the crowd heard the senator being shot at, so that's why he called the police to tell them that someone was shooting at the senator. But it wasn't near the crowd, it came from some building, so that's why you go to that specific high-riser to clear it out. Going through the mission might be a little hard as they have a few grenade traps, so watch out for them again. And also, they're highly trained veterans with armor and good weapons. You'll have to arrest 3 suspects, so bring a few more bangs than usual. Also, they won't comply that easily, so bangs it is. You will also have to find 2 sniper rifles, which are in room 1201 and room 1204, so look out for them. Besides the suspects, there are 2 important civilian targets which don't really have to do with the Left Behind, even though one is a former Navy officer. Also, if you listen to the suspects' voice lines, they will tell you that you are on the wrong side and should be fighting alongside them instead of for the government. Which makes you think, why did they get punished so hard? Does it really seem so unreasonable? I mean, come on, Luigi Mangione is considered a hero, so can't they be considered a hero too in some way, shape, or form? Or are they just delusional and full of rage? So they return, but this time they didn't hold back. Instead, they went even more crazy. This time around, when the Left Behind attacked, they attacked the family of the senator. But how could this happen? So, in the briefing we get a picture in an elevator, which is at the penthouse where the family of the senator would be staying at. There are 5 men armed to the teeth, ready to kill anyone, just for revenge and their own good. But in this mission, there are not only 4 suspects. No. A majority of the senator's personal guards turn on him because they too are veterans, who would greatly be punished by that bill, which they of course didn't want, and most of them are also in the Left Behind, so they basically infiltrated from within. The reason you are aware of this situation is because one of the sons of the senator called the police because he reportedly heard gunshots in the same penthouse which he was in. So going in will be hard, as previously mentioned. They are highly trained, and this time around more volatile, as they aren't compliant at all. Well, you can see that they are completely out of control, because when you go in, you will see a dead civilian's body lying in front of you. Unlike last time, you don't have to arrest any suspects, but it's better for points of course. Also, try going through every room and looking at it for a little. The most interesting one for me is the room where the senator's wife is. There you can see a phone where the senator left a message for his wife, to kind of warn her of the situation. Because there was a security guard behind the senator, which could have been a part of the Left Behind. So that's why he doesn't directly warn his wife. Instead, he says a Bible verse, which his wife would be able to understand, as she is very much a Bible enthusiast. Also interesting is the big room, where I'm sitting at right now. Here they were torturing the senator's family and livestreaming it, so the senator would cancel that bill. So this kind of came full circle. At first they were upset and tried to kill the senator. They didn't really want any other casualties, so it seemed kind of reasonable. But this mission shows what disgusting lengths the Left Behind would go just to achieve a goal. In the process of this, they actually dragged civilians into this. And this is where I draw the line. Killing innocent civilians with no reason. Welcome to Cherasay Farm. This is the final piece of the puzzle. It is not connected to the previous missions, but is kinda the same anti-government sentiment, because this is a cult led by Elaine Raskin, who also, like Gerard Scott, was a part of the USIA. But after being discharged for unknown reasons, she founded this cult, called the Carriers of the Vine. She can be easy to make out, as she wears red clothing. This cult is misandristic, which is the opposite of misogyny. Basically, what they do is kill abusers, rapists, and more. They also torture them. Kinda base, not gonna lie. You can see a list of them in one room full of just boards and plans. Even Amos Wall is there. What may have led to this is that Elaine was probably abused by someone in her past, which just manifested those misandrist ideologies in her head. The other important person you need to know is Eve Nader, who's also wearing red. She went missing in 2015 and has since been living on Cherasay with Elaine. This means that she probably got brainwashed so hard that she became a high-ranking cult member. The reason you were called this time is because 4 women assaulted a man in a supermarket. Presumably it was an abuser due to the cult's views. After they assaulted him, they got away with the car, which was registered at Cherasay Farm. So that's why 2 colleagues showed up and tried to deal with the situation, but to no avail. One officer was shot by the cult members and died, and the other one was heavily wounded. So you're here. Going through the farm might be hard, so bring your friend along. I know you have friends. Don't lie. You have to bring order to chaos, arrest the 2 important suspects, so be careful. As you go through, you might hit the soft objective, where those plans and pictures are, of the abusers. So, collect that. Also, what you may notice, depending on how fast you're going, is that there are many paintings. Most of them are females, but some have males in them. But these pictures are special, and I'll get back to them later. Going further, try to kill or arrest them. At the back of the compound, there will be a path to a church. Right next to the path are some graves, which I will also address in a second. When you get to the church, on the bottom floor, you will see a torture chamber with a cage, torture instruments, and there's a specific sickle. This torture chamber seems to be where the cult members tortured abusers and even castrated them, specifically with a sickle, as seen in many paintings on the walls of men. When you go up, you will see a tree growing through the floor of the church. It has the carving of some goddess inside of it, which just meant they worshipped her. It is presumably the Greek goddess Hera. Those graves near the path are the dead men who got murdered. I don't like abusers either, but that's actually very hardcore. This concludes the bloody chapter of The Left Behind. It was filled with hate and anti-government sentiment. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll have my sources down below. And as always, have a great day. I'll see you on the next one.